parents, we want to provide a loving, comfortable home for our four-legged family members. But did you know that there are a number of household items that can be poisonous to your pets? Well, today we're back at the ASPCA to learn from Dr. Emily Pointer how to keep your pets safe.
There are quite a few human food items that pets should not be allowed to eat. Some I think people are aware of generally, like chocolate. A lot of people know that chocolate is toxic to dogs. Caffeine, alcohol, things like that, pretty common knowledge. But some things are very unusual. For instance, macadamia nuts. Who would think that that would be toxic to animals? But it is. There are three main things that I want to talk about because these toxins are things that we see in our hospital pretty commonly, and I think that people should definitely be aware of them. First item I'd like to talk about is grapes and raisins. Grapes and raisins can cause kidney failure in dogs, and we don't really know the mechanism of action right now. There's a lot of research in veterinary medicine trying to figure out what the cause of this kidney failure is, but what we do know is almost any amount of a grape or a raisin can cause kidney failure in dogs, so it should absolutely be avoided. The second thing that I think people don't really know very much about is that onions and garlic can cause anemia, which is low red blood cell count in animals, and it should absolutely be avoided. Both in things that you're cooking, like a stew or something with onions or garlic in it, that can also cause anemia. One other thing is baby food often contains garlic paste. So if you're giving baby food, meat-flavored baby food to your pet as a treat, make sure that it doesn't have onions or garlic in it. The final thing that I'd like to talk about is xylitol, which is an artificial sweetener that is in a lot of human food items, candies, gums, a lot of diabetic candies will have xylitol in it. Xylitol is incredibly dangerous to animals. Xylitol can cause a fatally low blood sugar, it can cause liver failure, and it can cause problems with blood clotting. So it is something to absolutely be avoided. The most important one that I would like to mention is lilies. Any part of a lily plant, the stem, the leaf, the flower, any part of it, a tiny amount can be fatal to a cat because it causes kidney failure. So a cat owner should never ever have a lily in his or her home. And if flowers get delivered to you, make sure that you look through the flowers to make sure that you take out all the lilies. Very, very, very important. There's a bunch of other common flowers that might be in your home or garden that you should avoid as well. Tulips, the bulb of the tulip can be very toxic to animals, as well as azaleas, rhododendron. Again, there's a very, very long list. So the best thing to do is to look on the website and look at things that are safe and things that are unsafe for your pet. Things like household cleaners, things that you would clean your car with, mothballs can be toxic to pets. Liquid potpourri can be toxic to pets. So you want to look around your house and make sure that things are not easy for them to get into, and be cautious about what you have lying around. Another common household item, change, might be lying around your house, and it's funny, you wouldn't think that a pet would want to swallow a penny or a dime or a nickel or something like that, but when the coins oxidize, they can taste a little bit salty, and that's why dogs tend to get into them. A penny that has been minted after 1982 has a zinc core and a copper coating, and the zinc in the penny can actually cause something called hemolytic anemia in dogs, and that is something that causes the breakdown of the red blood cells and can cause a very, very low red blood cell count, which can be fatal and often requires a blood transfusion, so be careful with your change. I think by far the most important thing that you need to be aware of is that human medications, if they're lying around the house or if a person is to give a human medication to a pet, can be fatal. I often think about a cat that we had here at the hospital at the ASPCA. The cat survived a high-rise fall, which is she accidentally fell out of a window of an apartment building. She had a broken bone. Unfortunately, her owner gave her a Tylenol because he was trying to be nice. He wanted to help her pain. The cat died not because of the broken bone, but because she was given a Tylenol. The Tylenol killed the cat.
So what kind of precautions can pet parents take?
You need to have some forethought about these things. Cats are notorious for trying to get into cabinets, opening things up. Puppies will chew on anything, even if it's something that you don't think that a puppy would want to eat. Your puppy is going to get into it. Right. So just make sure your cabinets are secure. Use some sort of fastening device to make sure your cat can't get into things. Look all around. Look at your house. Look in your cabinets. Can your animal reach a cabinet? Make sure you look in your garage. You want to make sure that antifreeze, for example, which is absolutely fatal to cats and dogs, it tastes sweet and they get into it. Make sure these things are out of their reach. It's very, very important, and you can prevent a lot of problems if you just have the forethought to look around your house and garage before your animal gets into these things.
So what should somebody do if they believe their pet has ingested one of the items that we've talked about today?
you want to have the ASPCA's poison control hotline number readily available. And I wanted to mention that if you go on our website, ASPCA.org, there's a place where you can get a free magnet to put on your refrigerator, so it's right there if something happens. You also want to have your vet's phone number close at hand. If you're worried that your pet has ingested something toxic and your pet is not acting normal, is depressed, is violently vomiting or having diarrhea, you want to get to the vet right away. There's not time to make those calls. You can ask a friend to call in advance and let your vet know that you're coming, but you need to get to the hospital right away. If you think your pet has ingested something and he or she is acting normally, call poison control right away, because you need advice about what to do. Some things you want to make your pet vomit. Some things it can be worse for your pet if you cause them to vomit. Something toxic going down may cause more necrosis or inflammation in the esophagus and the mouth coming up, and you might not want to do that. So it's very, very important to talk to a professional about what to do.
Dr. Pointer does, however, suggest to keep a bottle of hydrogen peroxide in the house in case you are instructed to induce vomiting. So today we've talked about many of the main poisonous items to avoid, but like Dr. Pointer said, you can get a comprehensive list at ASPCA.org. And remember, if you're thinking about adopting a pet, please make yours the next great rescue story and come to the ASPCA or visit a shelter near you. I'm Susan Richard. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on All for Animals.